Hey everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be building in Sulani, the new world we got with the brand new expansion pack, Island Living. I don't know about you, but I'm loving this new pack. I did this build a little while ago. It took me a while to do the voiceover, so any of you who might follow me on the Sims gallery have probably already seen this. You may have already seen it on my Instagram as well. I think I may have posted it there. I'm very behind when it comes to doing voiceovers for my speed builds, so I apologize for that. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this build, so I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I love the Victorian period and I love doing Victorian style builds. I just think the Victorian style is extremely beautiful, and I know it's kind of associated with kind of decay and darkness now due to just years of those homes being neglected, as well as due to popular icons such as the Addams Family. However, I still love the Victorian style. I love building in it, and I think it's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the more fun styles I think to build in The Sims 4. I know some people will disagree, but that's what I think is great about the Sims community, is we all kind of have our own style or era of building that we all kind of look towards. And you know, some sim players are known for certain build types, while some are known for other ones. If I get known for making only Victorians, I will not be mad. But you might be thinking, isn't that strange to have a Victorian style build in Sulani, a world kind of based off of Polynesian culture, specifically like Hawaii? And actually, you'd be wrong. If you're unaware too much about the history of Hawaii specifically, I'm going to just go over some brief things about the history and how it pertains to the Victorian style, and why the Victorian style actually isn't uncommon in Hawaii. You can actually see a good amount of buildings in that style, and that's because in 1898, I believe, that is when Hawaii was officially annexed by the United States. And what that pretty much means is, in simple terms, the US seized Hawaii from the native Hawaiians, as well as their queen at the time, who I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, because I was trying earlier and I was just butchering it, and I do not want to be offensive, but she was the last queen of Hawaii. She was overthrown essentially by the US military. There were US citizens who were missionaries from the US who were living in Hawaii, who also played a big role in overthrowing the Hawaiian monarchy. I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's a little too complicated to get into right now, and I don't want to leave out any important details, but essentially what you have to realize is the US illegally seized Hawaii and illegally overthrew this queen, and then it became an annexed territory until 1959, I believe, when it officially became a US state. And yeah, the history is a little dark and a little not the happiest, but like I said, when it was officially annexed, though, was in the Victorian period, and even before it was officially annexed, there had been lots of white settlers who had come from the US, Britain, during the Victorian period, who came and settled in Hawaii. And due to that, there was a lot of Hawaiian homes that were built in the Victorian style. And I just think that's so fascinating, because we were talking about one of my Strangerville speed builds, how it made sense that the Victorian style was also prevalent in kind of like the western part of the United States, with that kind of like Wild West theme, because that also was happening during the Victorian period. And now here we have another example of another completely different area that you wouldn't think would be affected by the Victorian style and Victorian world, but no, it became part of the Western world, if we will, during the Victorian period. And my idea for this is I wanted to do that kind of Victorian style, but I was also trying to pull in elements from island living in Sulani, because I wanted it to kind of feel like a home that had both cultural histories to it, and felt significant to both parts of that history, if you want, trying to honor both histories. And I think specifically I want to do this is because there's so many great builds here in Sulani that are based off of more Polynesian styles. And whenever I build somewhere, I try to have a unique or a diversity, a good amount of different homes. Really, I don't want them all to look the same. I know I build a lot of Victorians, but I do try to make everything feel different. I don't want everything to feel too the same. And I want to do that the same for Sulani, even though I know Sulani is supposed to feel a little more out there, a little less connected to the rest of the world. But I definitely wanted to pull that in here with this build, where I was trying to reference both that history, and I know also the history in the Sims world is not the same history in our own world. It doesn't have to be. It can be if you want it, though. And I think for me, that was my idea, is I wanted to reference that real history, while also being like, but yeah, in my own Sims world, everyone is happy, and we don't deal with evil racism and stuff. Everyone's happy and great. Not realistic, but it's my escapism, okay? Anyways, I actually really love how this build came out. I mostly tried to use just things from Strangerville and base game, as well as island living. I think those are really the only packs you really need to own. There's definitely probably a few items here and there from other packs, but I would say the main ones are base game, which you need the base game to play the game, so island living and Strangerville. So if you're interested in downloading this off the gallery, just if there are other packs included, those will probably just be for things on the inside, but the outside build really, from what I'm looking at, it really only has Strangerville and Island Living, so those are the only packs you really need to have. Anything else featured in here is, the way I put it, is optional. And that's how I feel like a lot of my builds is I try to make the exterior, the frame of the house, a limited pack. Mostly I use a lot of Strangerville, but I really try to make a very specific feel, I guess, or I try to use specific packs to make the exterior, and then the inside I kind of use whatever I want. Which I know, so when you go to the gallery, it might be daunting, because you'll be like, oh my god, there's like 8 million packs used here. But you don't need all the packs generally. Like I said, I really try to do the exterior just as 1 or 2 packs, and everything on the inside you can just replace with what you want. That's another thing. I encourage people who aren't even downloading this, who might have all the packs anyways. I still encourage people, change things around if you don't like maybe the layout, or if you don't like the furniture I used. Like, I will not be offended. If anything, you can even reorganize it, redecorate it, and you can like send me pictures of like what you did. I'm not gonna be offended. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you ruined it. Like, if anything, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? But like I said, like here I'm using the vampires sink, but like, you don't need vampires for this build. You can put any sink there. And as we get into a little bit more, like with some of these wallpapers too that I used, you feel free to change them up. Like, just because I used, maybe one from Vampires or a base game one, feel free to be like, yeah, no, this ain't gonna work. I don't like this. What I was trying to do with this build is I just want it to be very fun, very colorful. I was trying to capture that about the Sulani builds. All of them have that kind of rich color feel, as well as Victorian homes. I know Victorian homes kind of have this reputation of being dark and scary, but in reality, a lot of Victorian homes are very colorful, very beautiful, very playful. So I think in some ways it meshes well. I will say the Victorian style aesthetic is very different than the Sulani aesthetic. The only thing in common is maybe lots of color, which I know once again is very funny because the Victorian period I feel like gets painted as dark and creepy, when really, like, when you look at a lot of Victorian homes, they're like pink and like green and like are just really bright and obnoxious, and we look at them now and go like, we have this weird like, ooh, they're dark and spooky. And I think part of this also has to do with a lot of the maintaining of these homes has led to a lot of them being repainted darker colors. And that's also not to say that there weren't dark colored, like there probably were Victorian homes at the time that were painted in dark reds and blacks, and like, like it's not uncommon. However, when you look at Victorian homes, generally they're not the dark, dim things that we think of now. Like even in the base game here in The Sims 4, we have the Goth's home, and that definitely has kind of a dark gothic feel to it. So, just something to think about. I used this round table here from Island Living. I love this table. It has enough room for a huge family, even though this home really only has room for maybe, at the most, 2 parents and 2 kids. And you could probably fit a pet bed in here somewhere. You don't need all 6 of those chairs there, but I just love the idea of using them. And like I said, I was really just trying to use a lot of things from Island Living. And my idea for that is, like, this is supposed to be a mesh of 2 cultures coming together and creating this new kind of exciting thing that you'd really only find here in Sulani. So that was my idea. I hope you guys, like I said, if you guys download this and have fun with it, I hope you like it. You could do any kind of family who lives here. They could be maybe a Sulani native family. It could maybe be someone who moved into Sulani, who came from the outside. Maybe it could be a mixed family. There's a lot of like fun things, I think, with this kind of home where it's supposed to be a mesh of 2 cultures coming together that you can do a lot with. I know as of right now in my own game, I don't have anyone living here right now. There's like so many homes in my Sims 4 game that are not inhabited because I'm like, I haven't found the right family for this home yet, and that's one of these ones where I'm like, I'll know when I make or stumble upon the right sim to live here. I also put a little table out here on the deck, and I don't know, I just like love this deck area I created out here. It's very fun in like that very round shape. It's a little wonky, and that kind of fits like the Victorian wonkiness. And I also love that I used that like board, that like the wood on the outside we got with this pack, and it's very not what you would think when thinking of Victorian, which once again trying to get to that idea of breaking down what a Victorian has to be or can't be. But yeah, so like I said, in some ways this is a weird build, because in some ways it's me acknowledging the really dark and messed up history of Hawaii, while also trying to celebrate the positives of it, I guess. Which, I mean, it's really hard to like positives in like annexation. Like that's like kind of a statement I would never really say. But like I said, I love this idea of this home that like uses both of the culture. And like I said, when I play my own Sims game, I like to envision the world history a lot less violent and a lot less sad. And once again, that's just because I'm a history major. I work a lot with looking into history. So every once in a while, especially here in my own like Sims 4 gameplay, I just need to escape a little. So here in the master bedroom, I was putting in a bathroom, which I don't think was needed, but I don't know, I just liked the idea of it. I definitely struggled here because like that is a weird shaped bathroom, and I generally try not to use those towered shape rooms, as I like to call them, as bathrooms. I really try to use them as extensions of bedrooms, or maybe just sitting rooms. As you see here, I mostly just use them as sitting rooms. Where else in the building, except for one, was also like the computer room. And okay, these curtains that we got with Island Living, I love them. I think they're so beautiful. I definitely have been using them in other builds, and they're one of those things that I like also, that they fit with the Island Living aesthetic, but also you can use them in other builds and it won't look too out of place. So, I don't know, this is one of the things I love about The Sims 4. They never fail. Here, like I said, I try not to make rooms too specific, but I was trying to make one a little kid's room, maybe like a teen room, and then like the parents' room, keeping it vague enough, because, when I move my own Sims in, I'll probably change as I need it to, as well as, I don't want you guys to feel stuck with the build, Like, I don't want you to download this and be like, oh, I can't edit the room. Like, I don't know, throw the bed away, I don't care. Make that room into whatever you need it to be. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up my voiceover around here. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.